I'm a big enemy of anti-Semitism, all this hate. But the problem, you know, is this. The Jews keep causing it. Now take my friend, Leo Frank. Brilliant engineer, Ivy League, New York connections.
Married a nice rich Jewish girl down in Atlanta. Became president of B'nai B'rith, the Jewish Freemasons. And he runs a pencil factory down there. National Pencil Factory.
So I call Leo. Somebody picks up the phone and I say, "Hey Leo, how's it hanging?" A woman sobs and slams the phone down. So I go and Google Leo Frank. Oh, Leo baby, this picture shows up. Leo, that's not how it's supposed to be hanging. Were you sharpening your pencils with the wrong girl? Were you putting your Frank in the wrong button?
Okay, enough with the Yiddish accent. It seems Leo was, because he tried to force himself on a fiery 13-year-old redhead named Mary Fagan. And she fought him off until he had to kill her to shut her up.
And now Leo is dead. The newspapers say a mob lynched him. Not a chance. Leo had been found unanimously guilty by 2 juries. In fact, the grand jury had 3 Jews on it. And his death sentence was confirmed by 5 levels of our court system, county, state, and federal, including the U.S. Supreme Court, twice for the sodomy, rape, and murder he committed on a 13-year-old girl, his own employee.
And Frank, almost as bad, tried to pin it on 2 of his innocent black employees, the janitor and the night watchman. He was a pedophile child killer, that bad boy.
Leo thought his powerful Jewish connections upon Wall Street in New York City would get him off. Epic fail. Now, as for the so-called mob, more Jew lies. Since the man had been legally convicted of murder and sentenced to death, the hanging was carried out by the duly elected sheriff, W.E. Swanson of Marietta County, Georgia, next to Atlanta, when the little girl victim had grown up right across from the site of the hanging. He was also lynched by the former governor of Georgia, by the then-serving Speaker of the House of Representatives of Georgia, and other top citizens.
This non-mob, composed of the finest citizens of Georgia, merely carried out the legal death sentence that for 2 long years had been postponed again and again, to their great frustration. And when even the U.S. Supreme Court refused twice to even hear the case, Leo's appeals were over. Time for the rope for a man who raped and killed a 13-year-old girl.
What triggered then the actual lynching? Since all Leo Frank's appeals were up, a bribed governor named Slayton stopped the execution and gave Leo Frank, who was a client of his own private law firm, life in prison. But the real purpose of that was to give Leo and his Hebrew homies time to arrange for a second trial, get a judge that could bribe, and pay some witnesses to say the 2 black guys did it.
Incredibly, as this Jewish historian, Albert S. Lindemann, a Harvard graduate and professor of history at the University of California, Santa Barbara, says in his book, The Jew Accused, on page 249, both the detective teams, hired by Leo Frank to prove his innocence, decided when it was all over that Leo Frank was, quote, guilty beyond any doubt.
So this is why lynchings actually happened. The people act when they see the rich, powerful, and guilty are about to get off. And by the way, 1/3 of those lynched were white. These 2 child molesters, strung up naked, sure look pretty white to me. Over 1,300 white men were lynched in America for rape, murder, molestation, and, in the cowboy days, for stealing horses and cattle on the frontier where the nearest sheriff could be 130 miles away, a 4-day ride in the saddle.
Now my question is, what are we going to do about this current child molester, former President Bill Clinton? The white race today is just a pale-faced disgrace. I know what our ancestors would have done. Now, only the tabloids and Fox News have briefly covered but Bill Clinton, the same one whose wife is in the lead for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States government, regularly flew on a private Boeing 727 jet in the early 2000s to a private orgy island in the Caribbean belonging to this Jewish convicted child molester, Jeffrey Epstein. This is his mugshot at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Amazingly, the man did only 2 years prison for holding minor children against their will on his orgy island to rape them. 2 years for raping 10-year-olds.
There he also had sex with this minor girl, Virginia Roberts, and others much younger, again down to age 10.
Did you say Jeffrey Epstein, the one with all the money and the convicted pedophile friend of Prince Andrew? I was a close friend until he got caught. Now I've never met him.
Guess who else flew to the child sex island, according to the flight logs? Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey, and top Jewish activist, book writer, and Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz. And Prince Andrew of England, the son of Queen Elizabeth. Here is Prince Andrew with pedophile Epstein strolling through Central Park in New York after he served 2 years in prison for child molestation.
And here is His Royal Highness with this girl, Virginia. Here is the Wikipedia section on Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, and pedophilia. And no one is doing a damn thing about this parasitical Brit who molested American children. I wonder why we ever had a revolution when British royals can molest our kids.
Now guess who else was at the Epstein parties? Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister. Lee Wexner, Jewish owner of Victoria's Secret, the erotic underwear. Black comedian Chris Tucker, of course several Bushes. Bill Richardson, the UN ambassador, congressman, energy secretary under Bill Clinton, and two-term New Mexico governor. Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary, president of Harvard, and even Judge Ken Starr, ah yes, who investigated Bill Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky affair. And in 2013, just to be consistent, wrote a letter to a judge on behalf of a teacher named Christopher Cloman, who molested 4 girls at a posh Virginia private school.
And guess who else wrote a letter to the judge on behalf of the pedophile teacher? ABC News anchor Charlie Gibson. And guess who else was in Jeffrey Epstein's little book of phone numbers and went to his parties? Donald Trump. Face it, folks, we live under a pedophilocracy, a government of, by, and for the pedophiles who want your kids, lust for your kids, to rape their body, mind, and soul, and even kill them, and drink their blood in satanic rituals.
Will you stand for it, or stagger back in denial? A man will fall for anything if he stands for nothing. The worst thing is not Virginia Roberts, who was forced into sex at age 16, but now is a married mother of 2 who at least survived the ordeal.
But the children who were just 10 years old and may have been murdered to shut them up. You know why various justified lynchings have happened throughout our history? When the people realized, with all American motives, as with Leo Frank, that the fix was in, and that a VIP was going to walk and get away with rape and murder.
That's when they went out with the rope. I think that people need to convene a citizens' grand jury. Indict Bill Clinton. Indict the #1 loudmouth Jew in America, Alan Dershowitz. Indict actor Kevin Spacey and his raping highness, Prince Andrew.
Arrest, try, convict, and, well, Leo Frank-ize them all.
Or as Roger Murray says, why do we test on animals when there are pieces of shit in prison that have raped women and have molested children? Test it on them. What the F did the rabbit do to you? Let's stop testing new medicines on beautiful, innocent animals and try them out on the lowest animal there is, the rapist or molester.
Adolf Hitler, we need you back in bed. But next time, please, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Let's just kill them all and add to that mile-long list everyone who knows about the rape of our precious women and the molesting of our dear children, and looks the other way.
You don't deserve to call yourself a man if you do nothing, or even spout the asinine opinion we should try again to bring all this to the attention of the authorities.
Child molesters are the authorities. Our presidents, judges, top media, and financial officials are murderous perverts. The whole system is rotten and must be destroyed to create a new America.
Women, I hope you will not sleep with your husband if he is okay with the rape, molestation, and murder of our women and children.
I am calling America out. White man, stop being a pale-faced disgrace. Look at how our ancestors got mad and took action.
Adolf Hitler, come again. Lead again. Kill the wicked, and this time, don't let one of them escape, but instead,
kill them all.
Have blessed our soil and blood. It was meant to be. We carried on through drought and flood. It was meant to be. We built this land upon our graves. It was meant to be. As fortune favors just the brave. It was meant to be. Don't worry, child, don't you fear at all. Don't worry, child, we will kill them all. Don't worry, child, don't you fear at all. Don't worry, child, we will kill them all. Your fathers died so you may live. We can't forget and we won't forget.